Whenever I speak of two basic teaching of Jesus Christ that when you are a disciple of Jesus, then you are going to bear more fruit. A disciple, or even if you belong to Jesus, certainly something very good is going to happen in your life in some way. And another thing that I say is I give a meditation of fire that when you're on your fire, you get the heat and light. Light is like bearing more fruit, and the heat is like you get the nature of the fire. So when you're Jesus, the second teaching is you follow his command. Like when you're on your fire, you follow the heat of the fire in you. Otherwise, you are not near the fire. These are the two basic teaching that I always speak. But there is one third teaching that I find is most impractical teaching. And now you can ask, how can I use such term about Jesus Christ that his teaching is impractical? But I'm saying it not in figure of speech, but literally. Now, what is the meaning of something that is practical? Something, when it is practical, according to dictionary, practical means of or concerned with actual doing or use of something rather than with theory or ideas. Actual doing in our society, in our life, that is empirical, actual, active, applied, experimental, and non-theoretical. And also, some other synonyms for practical is this: something that is feasible, that is workable, that is possible, that is reasonable, sensible, useful, helpful, etc., etc., etc. And now Jesus Christ is asking us that unless you give up everything you have, this means that everything that you feel as practical that you have, if you give up, only then you can claim yourself that you belong to Christ. Not before that. None of you can be my disciple unless you give up everything you have. Everything. This is the price. This is the cost of belonging to Jesus. And now you know so many people living in this earth in present time. And you know many of them are the great teacher of the teaching of Christ. But tell me, if you have found even one single person who has really given up everything for the Christ, everything. The word, the meaning of everything is everything. Everything, everything given up for the Christ. Yes, it is very deep teaching, and Jesus knew that people could manipulate his teaching, could interpret it in this way that no, it doesn't mean everything. He is saying in this way or that way. Human mind is so wise, we know from the story of Adam and Eve, from there, human used to interpret the word of God in their way. But Jesus Christ is literally saying everything. And you see, everything, even my mobile phone, everything I have to give up for Christ. And Jesus Christ has made it clear in the first time he's saying, those who come to me cannot be my disciple or my intimate belonging to me unless they love me more than they love father, mother, wife, and children, brothers, sisters. Can you see? And so on. Jesus is saying even more. But can you imagine that how can you love somebody more than the father, mother? And most of the people, I find that they don't find this teaching impractical because they feel, yes, we can love Jesus Christ more than my father. I can love Jesus Christ more than my mother. I can love Jesus Christ more than my children. Although it is also not so practical. I can love Jesus more than my brother and sister. But what is the point is this, that when we think with calculative mind, only then we can say, yes, I can love more than this. But when we think with our heart, then we find that what is love is given. Like love is something like given. When you give love to somebody, you don't calculate it. How can you know how much you love your mother, how much you love your sister? If you have not so good experience in your family, then you can say it. But when you have found even one person whom you have really loved, how can you say that you can love anybody more than that person? How can you love that you can love anybody more than your child? This means that you know that you love your child in some form of limit. You love your wife in a limited way, not openly, completely. Scripture says that when you have a wife, then you become the flesh of the flesh and bones of them, and become one with your wife again. How can you now calculate that how much you love your wife, that you can love Christ even more than that? Is it practical? For many people, most of the people, it is practical. But what I'm saying, think it when we think it with the perspective of not mind, without mathematics, without calculating, without any something that we measure with, some scale, without use of any scale. How can you feel that you can love, and how much you love your mother, how much you love your sister, how much you love your friend, how much you love, there's so many things that you love. Can you love Jesus more than that? Is it possible for you? And then we find answer is given in the same thing what Jesus Christ is saying, because it is not practical. Many of us, I know many of us know, and I have heard so many people say that I love Jesus more than my father, mother, wife, children, brother and sister. But if you have really loved your mother, father, brother, sister, wife, children, or anything that you love, your work, your business, anything, you will find that when you love beyond your mathematical mind with your real heart, it is like water getting dissolved into other water, and you cannot separate it anymore. When we love somebody, we become one with that person. And Jesus Christ has given a new command. A new command is that love one another. This is the new command you give, Jesus is giving. And when we take this command of Jesus Christ and when we go for love, Jesus is all the time teaching us to love. Love your neighbor, love your enemy, love, 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 love. And when we have Jesus Christ saying love, 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 then we cannot calculate how much we love. We know Jesus is behind the root and we are the branches, and this love is our fruit, and we are just spreading this love. So we cannot calculate that how much I love my children and I love Jesus something. This is the unit of love. This much unit, I love my child and I love Jesus more than this. Like this much price of love I have for my child, and a bit more I give to Jesus. It is not possible. It is not practical. But Jesus Christ Himself has solved this. And for that, we need to get back to the word, the command that Jesus Christ is saying, in which Jesus has given us a key to solve this mystery. And Jesus is saying, those who come to me cannot be my disciple unless they love me more than they love father and mother and wife and children and brother and sister. And then Jesus Christ is saying something very, very important, and by which we can solve this, and it is Jesus saying, and themselves as well, because everybody whom we love is belonging to me. My mother is my mother, my father is my mother, my father, and my brother and my sister is my child is my child, my wife is my wife. And Jesus Christ saying that, and themselves as well, and everything is related to me. And when I can love Jesus more than I love me, and when I go beyond me, then I can really love Christ. That we deny ourselves. And Jesus always is saying that unless you deny yourself, you cannot enter into the kingdom. And when I deny myself, then naturally everybody who is related to me, my brother, my sister, my mother, my father, all of them get denied. And what remains is only the state of spirit. And only then our new spirituality sprout out from us like a seed. A seed goes into the ground, and unless it breaks from it, a new life never sprouts out. So likewise, unless I deny myself in this world, in this life, then I cannot love Christ. A new life, a new birth cannot happen from me. And Jesus says that unless we are reborn into the Spirit, we cannot enter into the kingdom. Otherwise, the spirituality is not started. Reborn into Spirit, and the word is spirituality. It is not. It is the word itself says that how can we claim that we are spiritual unless we have denied ourselves? No matter how much I love my family, but when I deny myself, they are my family. But when I have denied the word my, then naturally I have reached to the state of a spirit. So this is the teaching of Jesus Christ that I found is very, very impractical, very, very strange, very, very tough, but it is very easy. Just one thing that I need to deny is me. I deny myself. Lord, I kneel down on my feet. Here I am. This is my brother, this is my sister, this is my mother, this is my children, this is my work, this is my business. This is my asset of all life. This is my art. This is my earning. This is my talent. Everything. It is all belonging to me. But Lord, here I am. And here you are. Now everything is yours. And I give myself to you. And we see that our head goes down and our spirit rises up like that seed that breaks, and from it a new life is sprout. And only this, then we become the disciple of Christ. Only then we become reborn into His Spirit, and Christ is His Spirit. And Jesus Christ has also given a very beautiful teaching that why Jesus is asking this from us, because Jesus is saying that when we start to live into spirituality, then divinity takes the control of our life. We have so many things going mess all over in our life, and so many troubles and problems going on in our life because we are struggling so much with our limited quality. But Jesus Christ says that for the words you will speak will not be yours, they will come from the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. And when we are reborn into His Spirit, when we have denied ourselves, and then we enter, like the seed cracks, and from it a new life is born. From us a new spirit is born. Then all our intellect, all our word, everything that we do is done by the God, by the Spirit, and only great and blissful thing happens in our life. And also Jesus Christ says that until now you have not asked anything in my name, ask. And all life we have been asking from each other, from God. All the time our prayer is asking for some healing, some desire, some want. But Jesus Christ says that until now you have not asked anything in my name, ask. And here really, when we are reborn in the Spirit, and then only then we can ask. Only then our spirit, if asked anything on our behalf, then everything is fulfilled. And what we ask, even that will come to us from the God. Like we become the instrument and God becomes our engineer. We become a car and God becomes our driver. And like the Spirit of Christ, everything that has happened in the life of Christ has happened by the God. The same way Jesus Christ has also given a meditation that He is the vine and we are the branches, that like we are rooted into Him, and from that we are giving more and more fruit. Like we are the branches, we are in this world, our spirit, we are rooted in our spirit, that is the Christ, because God has created everything by the Christ, and not even a single thing is without that eternal word. And when we enter into that word, only then miracles happen, only then gratefulness happen, only then gratitude happen, only then love happen. But it all starts with one journey. It is by denying myself. No matter who am I, but we deny ourselves, only then we see the great I am. That is the I am of all and all being almighty. So thank you so much for listening to these words with so much of love. May God bless you. Thank you so much.